always share a story about my teacher in 5th grade. His name was Mr. Kramer. And I really learned a lot in his class. He had a policy that if you got anything wrong on an assignment, you had to correct it and turn it in again until you got it right. So the year before, I started getting a little bit lost in a few math concepts. And I thought that once I entered 5th grade, I can just, fill in the blanks, turn in the assignment, and be done with it. But because of this policy of corrections, and that too immediately correcting something if you didn't get it right, really sort of helped me, solidify the math concepts I was starting to miss out on. In schools, feedback is usually given too late and it's too little. There is a tendency to only give feedback at the end of a chapter or the end of the term, either in a test or an exam, when you're actually ready to move on to the next lesson. This does not help the children learn. Since the brain thrives on getting feedback when it's trying to access new information as knowledge, it's really important for the teacher to give very timely and constructive feedback to students as often as they can. Sometimes, teachers don't think about how important feedback from students would be for them to really gauge how much of their teaching are children actually learning. So it's a really good practice to actually ask feedback from students and gauge how effective your learning is. There's a lot of strategies that teachers can use for that. It doesn't have to be a formal survey. You can use a technique called ticket out the door, where the child just writes 2 concepts or 2 points that they learned in that lesson before they exit your class for the day. Here are some brain-compatible learning tips for feedback. Remember that the brain thrives and survives on getting feedback in order to store information into long-term memory. Often feedback is given too late or too little. Give timely and constructive feedback to students. Cultivate a positive attitude about learning from mistakes, and also allot time for students to learn from their mistakes in class and check where they went wrong. Take feedback from students often in order to gauge learning and how you are teaching. Remember, both quantity and quality of feedback are important.